Howdy folks, and welcome back to another episode of my E46 drift build. In this episode I'm going to be fitting up a racing style steering wheel, and also I'm going to be bypassing the airbag system. So when you remove your original steering wheel, you remove the airbag with it, and if you don't bypass it with resistors, you will have an ABS light on the dash, and I'm not sure if that will actually stop your passenger airbag from working or not. I'm not sure, but I just don't want the light on the dash, and it is quite easy to fit these resistors in instead of, you know, like pulling the light out of the dash or something. So yeah, these are my parts. Got this steering wheel. It is a 350mm, I think it's like a deep dish. I got that off Two Step Garage. They are an Australian company based in Melbourne. Also got this quick release hub. That's also from Two Step Garage. And I have this Boss kit, which I got off of eBay. It's a slimline Boss kit. So basically, I got a slimline one so that it keeps the steering wheel as close to the console as possible, or the steering column, because usually when you buy a Boss kit, they're quite fat, and then when you add on a quick release, it brings the steering wheel closer to your chest or your body as well. So I've just got a slimline one. Hopefully that's going to keep it nice and close to the steering column. So yeah, and also these are the resistors I've bought for the to bypass the airbag. So they are 3.3 ohm resistors, and they are 1 watt. So basically I did some research on the internet, and they said you need a 3.3 ohm resistor, well, 2 of, and 0.5 of a watt, or half a watt. I couldn't find half a watt, so I just got 1 watt. Yeah, so these were 50 cents from JCar. So JCar, 50 cents. So cheap as, and you need 2 of them, and 2 come in a packet. So as you can see here, it says 3R3, so that's 3.3 ohms. You got to be careful that you don't get mistaken by, I think it's 3K3 or something like that. That is like a lower ohm setting. Now, when I was trying to find a 3.3, I was like, what the hell? Why is there only a 3R3? And I actually looked up on the internet, and I will put a picture up now of the, actually I can just bring it up on my phone, of the resistor colors. So if you Google what colors are a 3.3 ohm resistor, then this comes up. All right, so 3.3 ohm resistor color code. As you can see, it says 3R3 or a 3.3 ohm. So that 3R3 means 3.3 ohm. And you can see here, the color code is orange, orange, gold, gold. So that means that it is a 3.3. So if you have a resistor lying around and you're not too sure what it is, you can actually look up the color codes on the internet, because the color coding all mean different resistance. So obviously in this case, an orange, orange, gold, gold, which these are. Orange, orange, gold, gold. That means it is a 3 ohm resistor. So yeah, gonna fit all that up, and that's about it. Let's get to it. Alrighty, so just got to disconnect the battery just to make sure that the airbag doesn't blow up in my face when I remove the plugs. I'm going to remove the negative terminal. Now, if you don't know which terminal to remove first, you always remove the negative terminal first, because if you go to remove the positive terminal, and I'm only saying this for people that don't know this, and you're using a spanner, and you go onto the positive terminal, and then you undo, and you touch that spanner onto the chassis of the car somewhere, or on another bolt or something like that that's connected to the chassis, and you're still connected to that positive, you'll actually arc that spanner out. And if you have an older style battery that has like a maintenance style battery that has the lids on it, the acid in there is actually breathing outside the caps, and that is actually flammable. So if you make a spark with your spanner from touching it on the chassis while it's still on the positive cable, you can actually blow the battery up. Even worse, blow your fucking face up. So go for the negative first, and then obviously when you're refitting the battery, you go in the opposite. So you start with the positive, then go to the negative, because if the negative's removed, then the car is not grounded to the battery, and it doesn't matter if you touch the spanner from the positive to the chassis or a bolt that is on the chassis. So yeah, there we go. Alrighty, so I've centered my steering wheel by driving backwards and forwards a couple of times just to get it center. Made sure it is centered. And now I can remove the two screws that are holding in the horn and airbag assembly. Alright, now I've got those screws removed, I can pull my assembly out. And then, now that my assembly's out, I've got to remove, ooh, that's bright. I've got to remove this wiring loom. So there's just one clip up in here. Can't see. Try and get that, there we go. So you just push on that tab there, and it slides out. And that is removed. So I actually have the single airbag module. Apparently there was an upgrade to put that came with like a 2-stage airbag. So as you can see, I've only got one here. So I only need one resistor. These wires here are actually for the horn. So yeah, that's it. She's unplugged. Okay, now I can remove the plug that is for these controls here. It doesn't have a pushing like tab. It's just got like a little detent, so it's quite stiff. You need to give it a bit of a good wiggle. Oh, that one came out actually easy. It's nice. Now I can undo this center bolt and take off the steering wheel. Now that bolt's out, I can slide my steering wheel off. There we go. All right, got the steering wheel off. Now I've got to make sure that I keep that centered, because I don't want to move that, because it needs to be in the same orientation as where I took the steering wheel off. Alrighty, so if I want to keep my horn and install the horn with the new steering wheel, I actually have to use this wiring loom. Right, so I need to plug this back into its original spot and use these wires here, because they are the horn wires. So basically, to do that, I need to cut this off here so I can plug this back into the car. So I'm just going to strip back this this heat shrink that's on here. I'm just going to cut these here. Remove the horn wiring. Got my resistor soldered in. Now I can slide up the heat shrink and then heat shrink it on. So here's a little wiring trick for you. Instead of just twisting the wires together and then just popping it over, which can cause a bit of a little loose connection there. You strip it enough so that you can twist it and then fold it over like so. So it's folded over, and then when you put it on, it might be a little bit tight that you have to just twist it to get it on, and then make sure it doesn't pop out too far out the back, and then you get a stronger crimp. And also on the crimping pliers, you've got your colored crimps here, but I really don't like using these because they're just a flat surface, like just pushing it down, and I've seen a lot of wiring looms fail because of that crimp not being good enough. So if you look down here, you've got your non-insulated terminal ones. I actually like to use these because what it does is it folds in the terminal and pushes down into the wire and gives it a really solid crimp. I'll show you what I mean. So if you get the wire, and the idea is that you get the bit that's going to be pushing down into the terminal onto the front here, because inside the terminal there's a slit, right? So that slit's going to allow these bits to actually fold in. So you always put that bit that's going to push in to that edge there, and then you just pick the one that's going to fit the best. In this case it's going to be the middle one, and then you center it, and then you just push down. And what that does is puts an indentation in it, if you can see that. So it puts the indentation in it, and it actually folds everything down and clamps that wire, and there's no way of pulling that out. So that's 2 tips for you today. Alrighty, now the loom is all pretty. I can put this onto the vehicle and then fit up my steering wheel. Alrighty, so turns out this wiring loom was a waste of time, because if you look in here, that plug where it's plugged into is hitting. See if we can get right in there. That plug is hitting on the inside of the boss. So we can't use all that shit that I just fucking talked about to put on this fucking hub. Alright, so even with the wiring loom unplugged, this still doesn't go on because that part there hits inside here and doesn't fucking fit. If you look at the original steering wheel, it has this big hole here. Well, this adapter, it's got this little hole, but isn't big enough to fit that plug in there. There's been a catastrophic fucking disaster. Have a look at this. What the fuck? I popped this out of here because I wanted to test the thing onto here and see if that would actually fit properly, and then all this shit just fucking sprung out of here. So yeah, good luck to me. Alright, we're going in for some surgery. Fucking got this off. I think I'm going to pull these bolts out, pull this out, and try and work out what the hell's going on. Alright, got it out of the car, got it on the ground. I don't know if you remember in a few videos ago, I don't know which one it was, but like how shit just always goes fucking wrong. And I think it's pretty funny because like it's fucking annoying, but it's funny, but it's also good. Like if you look at the positive of it, like now I've got to work out how the fuck that all goes back together. And then next time somebody asks me how the fuck, whatever the fuck that is, goes back together, I'm going to be able to go, oh yeah, you got to do this, 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 and this. So from every fucking bad experience, there's a learning experience. And so what I was saying before my battery went flat was, from every bad experience, there's a learning experience. Or from every failure, there's like a learning experience. You can learn a lesson from it. And I believe that is the same in life. So when something bad happens to you in life or a failure, it's not really that bad. It's not a failure. You can actually look at it in a positive way and learn from it and use it as a learning experience. So yeah, there's always positive that can come out of a fuck up is basically what I'm saying. So yeah, again, good luck to me. All right, so it turns out this thing is called a clock spring. I have heard of one of those before, but I'd never dealt with one. So this is called a clock spring. I actually need it out of the way to put this fucking steering wheel on. So I need to work out how I'm going to get this thing to fit back up, because I need my wipers in there and my indicators. So I need to work out what I'm going to do with that. And yeah, basically I'm not going to be able to use the horn. And the airbag light's probably going to come on. So yeah. Alright, so I ended up just deciding to cut them all. Because the fucking boss that I have doesn't fit over that, like I've said before. So I'm just going to run it like this for now. If I find a boss kit that actually will fit over that, I'm just going to pick up another clock spring, because they're quite easy to change. You just pop out the indicator and wiper stalks and then put it onto the new clock spring and fit it all up. So I'm just going to fit up like this for now, and yeah! Alrighty, so what I've actually done is I've cut the other bits off here, and I've cut off the plug because I actually want to put it back on to this bit so that the mechanism for the turn signal still, you know, the turn signal cancellation, well, that's activated by that. So I want to still use this, and to be able to make it fit with that hub or that boss kit, I've had to cut off that that plug there. So I still want to bypass the airbag light the way that it is. So I've got this plug off, and I've got my other diode, because I had two in that packet. And what I've done is I've plugged it into this plug where I think that's right, I think the airbag wires are. So I think it's these two yellow wires here that are twisted around each other. So I've just plugged this into there, and I'm going to hook the battery back up, turn the key on, and see what happens. Airbag light turned off. You beauty. So now I know that works. I'm just going to leave that as is, wrap it up in tape, and then tuck it in underneath the dash there, and then put the rest back together. Alright, got all my steering console back on. Got my what's left of my clock spring. Now I can go ahead and put on my boss, and then the what do you call it? Quick release. That's what it's called. The quick release, and then the steering wheel.
Run free and dive into the sky. Hear the wind crying out its prayer. Why are we so?
Fuck, it smells like food. Righty, now I've got the boss on. Now I can fit up the quick release.
Ache.
Alright, now quick release is on. I can go ahead and chuck the steering wheel on. So there she is, folks, all fitted up. Looks pretty nice. Funny story, turns out, can't even use the fucking horn anyway, because it doesn't fit. And look how look how fat this is, and look how skinny or shallow that is. Like, there's no way that'd go in there. What the fuck? So even after all that hassle with the fucking clock spring and all the wiring, the horn wouldn't work anyway. So, I don't know. Fuck me. On a better note, this is pretty cool. Phew. Righty, got the battery back on. Now let's jump in, turn the key. Airbag light went off. Yo beauty. So just another look at it, folks. I really like the purple, but I'm upset that there's a hole in the middle. It's just got the horn wiring sitting in there and it's just all open, which is pretty annoying. So I'm gonna have to hit up the crew at Two Step Garage and find out what's going on with that. Just pulled up the roller door and sun is shining in. Look how bright the steering wheel is. Ta-da! What the fuck? It's like there's a fucking light glowing out of the center of it. Alrighty folks, gonna finish up this video here. Another ripping install at the Merino Custom Build Garage. Yeah, just always running into problems. It's fucking fantastic. So I am going to keep this little harness that I made up just in case I find the correct boss that goes onto it and will allow me to plug all this shit back into the clock spring, and then I can have a working horn and everything like that. So yeah, thank you very much for watching the video, guys. If you enjoyed what you saw here, please give it a thumbs up, comment below, and if you haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing. And yeah, that's about it. Have a great day. Peace.